balance. So for today, we are going to be discussing, first of all, coming from River State, police detain monarch for threatening retired court judge. And also coming from Ogun State, government to prosecute women for mutilating 12-year-old girl with firewood. In Kaduna State, soldiers killed.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
All right, we're glad to have you back on Press Roundtable on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Angel Okoma, Angelic Angel. And I also want to introduce my guest. It is with utmost sense of pleasure that you are here today, this evening. Alex Afamifuna is a socio-political analyst. Sir, good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Okay, like I told you, my name is Angelic Angel. Now, let's move on to the first story coming from River State. Police detain monarch for threatening retired court judge. We are talking about River State. Detectives from the River State Criminal Investigation Department, CID, have arrested and detained His Royal Highness Eze Cyprian Amadi Waremu, the Ezerisi Ohia Emery Abali of Rebisi, for allegedly threatening the lives of retired Justice Adolphus Enebeli and his family members. Eze Amadi Waremu is accused of threatening retired Justice Enebeli's life after they later delivered a judgment against him on March 28, 2023 in a case involving traditional chieftaincy. Retired Justice Enebeli petitioned the Commissioner of Police, claiming that Eze Amadi Waremu, aggrieved by the judgment, resorted to threatening to kill him, his children, and his staff instead of exercising his constitutional rights to appeal the judgment. In the petition, retired Justice Enebeli urged the police to intervene urgently before Eze Amadi Waremu carried out his threat. The accused allegedly avoided honoring the police invitations but was eventually apprehended by officers. Media reports that Eze Amadi Waremu is currently detained at the state CID undergoing investigation and may face court arraignment. All right, that's it on that story. We're talking about the case that is happening right now in River State. I believe, Alex Afamifune, you are a socio-political analyst, and I believe you are aware of the stories going on about this judge and this man who is a traditional ruler, and because he was not really satisfied with the case that went on, and that was judged in 28th of 2023 March, and he came out to threatening the life of this court judge. What can you make out of this story?
Well, apparently it goes to show that, first of all, he's been accused of something, and then his denial or refusal to proceed to, doing the right things, taking the right step, is a motion in, if you ask me, a motion in the wrong direction, because as a leader that you are, it's imperative that you set the right examples. All right, so if we, the leaders, are not doing the right things, then we shouldn't expect anything less from the ones that were following us. You understand? Now, everybody does wrong at some point in time. All right, but then when the right judgment is being meted out, it's only necessary, it's only right that you follow due protocol. Do you understand? And now, because of his refusal to do that, he is now being forced out of his residence by, police officers. This goes to show that there is nobody that's really above the law. You understand? So it's very important that we ought to take this into consideration in our lives going forward. But it's really very sad that it's a monarch, it's sad that it's a king that's really going through this. But then, well, everyone is human.
And we say everyone can also make mistakes, but this is very sensitive because this is a traditional ruler. I also happen to come from a traditional ruler. When we were very small, we watch our dad. Even while we've grown in the universities, we watch them in the palace. Okay, they will always have one case or the other to judge, and we always sit quiet. But I've never had any case and saying that His Royal Highness is Iwokoma, because you misjudged this case, we are going to wait for you and we are going to kill you and your children. It has never happened. Because being a traditional ruler, you also have many cases to decide. Exactly. You have
the head is on point. If the leaders are doing what is right, there's something called rub off. I'm not now saying that the pew are all going to be all good, all right, because there's sometimes where we have good leaders and then the people following, some persons could, one or two few bad eggs and all that. It's well understood. But then we should all get it right, as I said earlier on. But to the point where you get to start threatening the lives of, it's really barbaric, it's very wrong, and it should not be expected of any leader, regardless of your stand.
And not just about the leaders. What you have to tell about other persons, not just the leaders, not just the political, not just the elites, but everyone, like the citizens. When you have a case, either a criminal matter, whether civil, felony, whatever matter you are having, and the court, okay, what's your advice to them? Because I believe that although this will serve as a deterrent to some persons, certainly, but then what is your general advice to people who may have this intention or who may want to say they didn't decide our case very well, this judge, maybe he took bribe or something like that, the boldness to come out and start molesting the judge who presided judge so that nothing happens to him. You understand? So what's your advice, and also your advice to those who are, the lawyers, the judges?
Okay, so first of all, my advice to everyone is try to stay out of crime, try to stay out of trouble, okay? But then if for one reason or the other, due to certain peer pressure or whatever, you find yourself in this kind of situation, all right, and you are being caught and judged accordingly, all right, do well to follow due protocol. Do not cut corners, whatever. Do not try to cut corners or make things, because yes, we're tackling the issue of bribery and corruption right now, but then when we begin to behave as though there is no solution to it, when we know that we can, you know, the normal mantra that goes on, the change begins with you, all right? So even if everyone will want to do it the same, that a particular way, which is wrong.
I want to thank you so very much for that. Once you commit a crime, you have to face it, either threat or you carried out the proper action. And also those in the court, the lawyers, the judges, I believe that most of them are really sensitive. Most of them are actually doing the right thing. But this is Nigeria, anything can go. But as the case may be, we want to tell the people that no one is above the law. For as long as you perpetrate the crime, you are going to be prosecuted. You'll be investigated, you'll be prosecuted, and that's it. All right, now we want to move to that her guardian decided to burn her private part with firewood because she stole biscuit. Speaking with our correspondent, Adele who described the incident as very satanic and barbaric, said that the suspect had been arrested by the police and will be prosecuted for such callous acts. Now, you can see this girl, well, this is quite...
It's quite sad.
It's quite sad. It's barbaric, like they used the word. It's callous, it's barbaric. Now, imagine this young girl being victimized by her guardian, and just simply because she was sent to through the father. He said he's a friend of the father's younger sister, whatever. And then imagine that kind of audacity, that kind of courage. I don't know where people really get this kind of courage in order to, I don't know, their aim also, I don't know. Now, this case is really, really sensitive because it has to do with a girl.
Yes.
Burning a girl's private part, you know, with firewood, because you caught her stealing biscuit, what, 200 naira. Now, let's look at this matter beyond how we are looking at it now. This goes on.
And you were grooming them in a particular way that they will never forget and also live on. All right, now, as it relates to this case, as I said earlier on, I'm not so sure why the child was sent out of the house. But then the act of stealing the biscuits and Milo for worth 350 naira put together was, yes, was not right. Okay, stealing is stealing, however you want to put it, it's stealing. But then, again, I have another question. Who is these things, who are these things rather being stolen from? Is it from the seller? Is the father's sister's, the younger sister's friend, is she the one selling the things? Or was it reported to her that this child stole? Okay, if it was reported, then what did the person, the seller, do about it? Do you understand? And then from this other angle, what do you say to the parents of this child that happened, that was the reason why you had to go, do this thing? So now, there are a lot of questions that, wrapped my head while this story came up, and I felt like probably it wasn't really complete, but then regardless of whatever happened, the act was barbaric, the act was satanic, and then I'm trying to ask myself, wickedness have grown to a certain level right now that we can't even describe, we can't imagine, all right? Now, what could have led, what could have put in your mind to punish a child by burning her with firewood in a private part? It's sinful, it's unimaginable, it's unthinkable, and it should not even be encouraged anywhere in the world, whatever, regardless of what the crime is. Regardless of what the crime is, I feel like this is where our justice should come into play. Our police and our forces should just take charge of it.
I believe they are they are carrying some investigations, and she will be arraigned. She will be prosecuted accordingly, yeah, according to the crime she has already committed. But what I'm trying to say here is, what's your own advice to a parent who want to send their children? Because look at the economic situation on the world right now. Look at what we are facing. You know, some parents, I know when we are very small, I've seen some parents, they will say, please, can you...
To stay with, all right? If I believe that there is no person who doesn't love the child so much, so well, to not mind where he or she is going to, you know, where they're sending the child award to, all right? But now I feel like we should, as parents, be very, extremely careful, because regardless of whatever happens, we were the one who birthed these children. No one will love them much more than we do as the parents. All right, so we should be very careful. What are the beliefs, what are the standards of these persons we're taking our children to? What do we expect our children to learn from them? It's really driving persons to, you know, engage in that act, right? But then we should also be sensitive as it relates to the child as well, because we don't know it all. And in our frailty, in our incompleteness in understanding, we still know more than our children, okay? So we should be very careful where we're sending them to, if it's safe for them mentally, physically, and socially even, all right, and otherwise, because this is just about brutality, this is just about mutilation. What about rape cases? What about other cases? You understand? So we should be very, extremely careful. This is just a friend, not even a relative. Do you understand? So because it's a friend, there is no so much emotions that may be attacked. You may not want to do that.
So I believe investigations has also been made. What do you think about that?
I think so too. I think so too.
Do you think the way a husband and a wife, like I just stated right now, lives, do you think it has any significant difference?
Yeah, no, it has a lot of parts to play, because, well, now coming from the parents of the child, all right, how they lived together, all right, will also determine in the long run how the child is going to grow up, the value that the child will learn and tend to each other, okay? The way they behave together, all right, has a long way to affecting the child's mental health, has a long way to affecting the child's peace of mind, all right? Because regardless of whatever, we could say, yeah, that's a child, but yes, everybody needs peace of mind, because that is the only way we could think properly. Yeah, so...
Well, we don't want to really deliberate on that, that particular incident, because it's quite worrisome. And parents should also learn how to train their children in a godly way, because if she didn't steal, I believe that that wouldn't also have come forth. Because when you train your children very well, you tell them the do's and don'ts, do not steal. Whoever, whether you are staying with your bossy, doesn't justify the actions of the woman. And I believe that the security agents
Our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usai, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No verse. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and the happenings only on.
All right, we're glad to have you back on the show on a press roundtable. Okay, let's move to Kaduna State. Soldier skills as bandits recover weapons. Troops of Operation Wheel Punch have killed 6 bandits terrorizing the Breningwari general areas and the Breningwari local government area of Kaduna State. The State Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, disclosed this on Friday in Kaduna. He said the troops successfully cleared Meidaro, Ngadi Aha, Dogondanwa, Damare, Saulawa, Farinruwa, Maganda, Sabonlei, and Kampani, Doka villages, all in the troubled Breningwari general areas. He, however, said 4 of the bandits were killed in Saulawa and 2 others were neutralized at Farinruwa. As you can see that, the commissioner said the items recovered from the clearance operation embarked by the troops are 1 GPMG, 2 AK-47 rifles, 6 AK-47 magazines, 1 FN rifle magazine, 22 rounds of 7.62 mm NATO ammunition, 51 rounds of 7.62 special ammunition, and 1 motorcycle. Arwan said, in another victory for the security forces against bandits and terrorists in Kaduna State, Troops neutralized a total of 6 terrorist elements during a strong round of clearance operations in Benin Gwari local government area of the state. According to operational feedback to the Kaduna state government, the troops of Sector 4 Operation Will Punch and 198 Special Forces Battalion conducted the special operations in Benin Gwari local government area in response to precise intelligence on terrorist activities in the area. And it said the troops cleared the area and recovered the following items: 1 GMPMG, 2 AK-47 rifles, 6 AK-47 magazines, 1 FN rifle magazine, 22 rounds of 7.62 mm, NATO ammunition, 51 rounds of 7.62 special ammunition, 1 motorcycle. The commissioner said the state governor, Uba Sani, congratulated the troops led by Force Commander, Operation Will Punch, and General Officer Commanding 1 Division Nigerian Army, Major General MLD Saraso, for another remarkable outing and notable breakthrough in the push against banditry and the flashpoint location. According to the commissioner, the governor lauded the victory as another testament to the power of efficient collaboration and coordination embraced by the forces and supported by the government. He then urged the troops Kaduna State House soldiers kill 6 bandits and recover weapons. We noticed that banditry is highly concentrated in the northern region, how they are killing people, massacring them, and a whole lot. But this time around, soldiers there, I'd say they have killed 6 of them and recover so many weapons, including NATO ammunition, some AK-47 rifles, some AK-47 magazines. So these people were really equipped before they came out. So what can you say about the soldiers killing these 6 bandits and recovering the weapons?
Well, I first of all want to say a very wonderful job well done.
Yes.
To our forces for that victory, all those victories in our testament. And also, what comes to mind is, how did these bandits ever get this kinds of ammunition? It brings to mind a lot of questions. How are they getting these things? They must have some sponsors somewhere, don't you think so? So I was thinking, but then it's a very wonderful victory on the part of our forces, our armed forces, But then there is another thing that's coming to mind now. The last time I was here, we talked about the fact that due to the scarcity of foodstuff, scarcity of basic necessities, a lot of persons might go into crime. All right, but then if we have a scope, if we have a timetable, if we have something to checkmate these things, checkmate these persons, make them do the right things, if they are well trained in what they do, they can do it right. All right, rather than go into criminalism, rather than go into banditry, rather than go into these kinds of negative energies, negative influences in our community, why not we just get these persons to do the right things? Create job opportunities for these persons, train some of these persons to do the right things, even in our security sector. All right, so yes, but then it's fine because sometimes we get to see that a lot of opportunities.
All right, let's move to the FCT. Policeman, armed robbers die as security agents for a bank robbery. Operatives of the Federal Capital Territory Police Command and their military counterparts on Thursday repelled an attack on a branch of First Bank PLC and a police division headquarters located in the Abaji Area Council. The armed robbers were said to have attacked both the bank and police division headquarters simultaneously on Thursday. The armed robbers, numbering 15, were said to have attacked their targets with dynamite. However, security forces who were mobilized to the scenes engaged the criminals in a fierce gun duel, leading to the death of 3 of the armed robbers. Okay. Now, a statement on Friday by the FCT Command spokesperson Josephine Adi added that some of the robbers fled the scene with injuries while 3 were arrested. She identified those arrested as Usman, son and yet unknown, Nuhu Musa, and Muhammad Aminu. Ade added that a yet-to-be-identified suspect was set ablaze by a mob at the scene after being neutralized by the security forces. The statement read, in swift response, about 5 p.m., the FCT police, led by the Commissioner of Police, CP Bernard Igwe, himself in a combined operation with the military, mobilized to scene and repelled the attack simultaneously carried out on both Abaji Divisional Police Headquarters and First Bank PLC in Abaji by a group of 15 armed men who attacked with dynamite in attempt to rob the bank. The security forces engaged the armed robbers in an intense gun duel, forcing them to scamper to safety with various degrees of bullet wounds, as the security forces succeeded in apprehending 3 suspects, namely Usman, who was reported to be the gang leader, Nuhu Musa, 41, a male from Kogi State, and Muhammad Aminu, 25, male of Abaji with grave degrees of bullet injuries, while a yet-to-be-identified suspect was set ablaze by an irate mob at the scene after being neutralized by the security forces. She noted that a police officer who was hit by a bullet during the operation was confirmed dead at the hospital, where he was rushed to. Ade said one police operative and the gang leader hit by a bullet during the gun duel were rushed to the hospital, and the doctor on duty confirmed them dead, while others are still receiving treatment. While a search operation is ongoing to apprehend fleeing suspect with bullet injuries, the Commissioner of Police, FCT, lauds the effectiveness of the combined operation and reaffirms the command's unflinching commitment to ensuring that FCT remains inhabitable for criminals, noting that the safety of the residents of the FCT is non-negotiable. Well, we have seen this incident really happened yesterday. These criminals, they invaded the bank, the First Bank PLC in Abaji area of the FCT, and at the same time attacked the police headquarters. I don't know how these policemen, they armed forces, as a matter of fact, they also foiled the attempt to rob the bank, because who knows what would have happened. I believe that lives should have been lost. You know, a lot of damages would have been killed. The money would have been looted. The money would have been stolen, and people look at the economy now. So what's your reaction on this?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to also applaud the security agencies on ground that were able to avert this, this duel. You know, it also goes to show that we have some good trained, police officers, security agencies on ground. It's a relief to have to know that. And also, I was thinking, what could be running through the minds of these attackers to attack the police division as well as the bank simultaneously? Is it so that these persons are crippled so that they are able to successfully rob the bank or something? So, but then it's also a good one to record to our own, it's a good one to record that once again our special forces have been able to mitigate this, this attack. Well, some persons got injured, and so sorry about the person who got lost. The police officer who died in the process. Died right in the course of doing what is right. But then I'm hoping that the investigations and all will be carried out to those ones who have who ran away, those ones who fled from the scene. I'm hoping that they're caught.
Yeah, they'll be cut. And so what's your advice to those who are on the checkpoint? There are those who are on the checkpoint, they stop and search policemen.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they tighten their seatbelts And for the untrained ones, they should go get trained, so that when they encounter such things, they should be able to know what to do. They should leave, you know, the unnecessary things and focus on the very necessary one, which is our safety and safety and the lives of the Nigerian and our goods and services, you know. It's because that's really their primary objective. That's really their primary. So they should stay focused. If they haven't been well trained, they should go for training so that they are able to combat in instances such as this.
And also reducing something like bribery on the road, because you would not know who is the culprit or who ran away from this security operatives. You know, I believe that they have to reduce bribes to the barest minimum.
Seriously.
And they have to also intensify efforts in fishing out these people, most especially as it concerns the FCT.
Yeah, because there's another thing to put to consideration too. You know, when you talked about reducing the bribery on the road, it puts to mind how this have in one way encouraged criminalism, because now you are doing the bribery on the road, and then these criminals come, they can also bribe you and go where they're going to. You understand? So it's really very important that they really reduce it to the barest minimum, like take it off the chat, take it off the table, all right, and really focus on their works. That's all.
Have you ever wondered why that after all these young, most of them are not even young, because I've seen 41 years, okay?
Yeah.
Now, after being apprehended, prosecuted, jailed, or some of them they will just, as in, they will die on the process. Have you ever wondered why some of these children, these adults will also keep on, you know, perpetrating this kind of nefarious activities in the society?
Yeah, sometimes it could be peer pressure. Sometimes it could be an act for survival, considering the economy of the nation. Sometimes it could be as a result of joining a kind of gang where you cannot easily break out from.
Okay.
All right. There are a lot of factors to these things. You know, talking about gangs now, it could have this effect of, you know, probably having a gang where you have to how we live our lives, our choices. You understand? So if you look at these persons, you know, if you look at the ages of these persons, they're not old people.
They're not old people. They're youngsters.
Very young people. All right, who would have done exploits in this nation, you know, had they been given the opportunity, had they decided to, had they made a choice to do something with their lives meaningful that will at least affect other people. So yeah.
Well, I believe that I want to thank the crime in the society. There is nothing to justify their action.
Nothing at all.
With that peer pressure, because it's the choices you make will determine your future.
Exactly.
I believe it's the choices, okay?
Exactly.
So if one allow peer